Hey guys, how you doing? We're back with another week here with John Nelson. I just wanted to shout out our sponsors real fast before we get started. Carrick Home Design, Chubby's, Frankie Jane, SaveDamien.com, and go subscribe at Coug Connect. So, tell me about your experience this Saturday.
Dude, it was nuts. It was great to be back in Lavelle, Edwards Stadium, and the home opener, and you couldn't ask for a better game and a better opponent. They got the better of us last year, right after our loss to Boise State, so I think that, we weren't 100% ourselves, and they were unranked at the time, so no one really knew what they were up, their potential was, so I think that everyone was definitely up for this one.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about what you were thinking about, especially the whole game, especially how it went near the latter half of it, for sure.
Yeah, well, we're defensive guys, so there's kind of just nothing you can do besides just go out there and have a good attitude, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The call comes, the call goes to you guys, and as a defense, you're all right. Let's stop them this drive. So that was kind of my attitude the whole game. It doesn't matter what our offense does, we just got to keep doing our thing on defense. Yeah,
no, for sure. I'd say that was probably my third overtime game in my career, and it was the first overtime with the new rules, especially, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, we got to get out of here before the third overtime starts. I was like, they haven't been running the ball successfully, but if you give them the ball on the 2-yard line, it's just inevitable that somebody's just going to score. So I was like, we need to get out of here before the third overtime starts. And the offense got the ball and they scored, and I was like, we can do this. I was like, we stopped them already so many times tonight.
Yeah.
And you guys were working up front. We were doing our job in the back end, so it looked nice for sure.
Rushing coverage, baby. Rushing coverage.
Exactly. And honestly, it seemed like everybody at Lavelle had the young man rattled back there. The amount of false start penalties, especially when the game counted the most at the end.
Yeah.
They jumped off sides twice in the last 3 plays, and I think it gave us a little bit of an advantage because it was 4th and 8 for the last play instead of 4th and 3 for the last play, for sure.
Yeah, well, you probably don't remember, but last year against Utah, they may have jumped a couple times, but Arizona State for sure, they jumped 2 or 3 times in a row.
I heard about that.
And it was nuts. It was the same situation. They were down there. They were either on this driving out, I think, but they were still in the corner, and it was 2 or 3 in a row, and it was huge. And it was, it's just the X factor playing in Provo, just 100 miles from nothing.
You're right, for sure. I don't know. It was my first time playing there, and it was definitely electric. Especially to be able to wave my arms, and everybody else, you could just it was like the TV remote. I was just clicking out like this every time I waved my arms, or I was just screaming louder and louder. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool experience for sure. Especially being on the side that I've been to a lot of places that have been equally as loud, but it's always as the opponent, right?
Yeah.
And over there, I'm like, oh gosh, can
so
they be
good,
quiet? And I'm like, I just want to just hear the call and see what's going on. But it seems like when I was out on the field, I was like, oh, I always knew what the call was because it was our crowd, our noise. Yep. So that was super nice. What would you say is your favorite moment from the game?
Favorite moment of that game? I was able to have a couple of good plays, but to chase down Blake Shapen and maybe get a sack, maybe not, but that may have been my first real sack of my career in college, at least. And just after so many double teams and so many holding calls that were missed, it was just finally so great to just finally get it. So
tell me a little bit about that flex to the crowd after you sacked him or whatever the case was. I was out there, so I was like, okay, John, do your thing.
Yeah, that was completely just ad-libbed. Didn't think about that for a second. Just came natural.
I feel that. Honestly, from what I was told last year, they're going to come down here and they're going to run it down our throats, and they're going to move us around up front, and they're going to set us up with the play action pass and, take the top off. I honestly feel like they went in there and played uberly conservative. Ran the ball over and over and over again, hoping for a break, and then they didn't throw it actually vertically one time all game.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the coordinators there, they used to be at BYU, so maybe it was personal for them. They're like, all right, we're going to because last year they ran for 300 yards on us.
Yeah.
And it was just straight wide zone. And then, so this time it was a little bit different. We were last year we were like, oh, these are our coordinators. We don't really need to like think twice about anything because it's just our offense.
Yeah.
But now this week we're like, no, they're legit. Like we need to really like dial in for this one. And all their O-line came back, all 5 of them. So and then we had all 4 starters coming back. So it was just we just were more prepared.
I feel that completely. Yeah, I have a friend that actually played left guard or right guard. I can't remember flipping the field at this moment in time in my head. But yeah, I'd like text him after the game. And I was like, what happened? You guys are supposed to run it down our throats. And he was like, dude, we ran it a lot.
Bro.
Just didn't go much of anywhere. It was like 58 rushes for like 2.9 yards a carry.
Oh my gosh.
It was ridiculous.
Wow.
That's the second game in a row where we haven't got a vertical shot yet.
Any passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being like 90 plays on defense and 20 pass attempts. So, frick, man. That was, It definitely, So, not a lot of opportunities to rush the quarterback, but we try to make it count.
Honestly, it seemed like, to me, seemed like the opposite. It seemed like we always got to the quarterback, so it seemed like we were always getting back there. Like, because, I mean, honestly, everybody says, like, we played really good coverage and stuff like that, which, like, yeah, we watched the film, there's definitely things that we need to improve on, but, like, I felt like they didn't even run routes, like, to help the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, they would run, like, a 5-yard route, and, like, you guys would already be back there, and I'd be like, you gotta move around, you gotta do something, because I didn't move, I literally didn't have to move much of anything, and, like, it just seemed super easy.
Yeah. There was also a couple times where he'd throw it to the sideline, and you guys broke up the pass plays.
Yeah.
The secondary really did a really good job. You guys came up and filled on your run fits. Like, it was, that defense, wow. That should be the new standard from here on out.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. How about the offense stepping up big at the end?
Yeah.
Like, and there's a stretch there where we just kept going out and battling, and, there are the games where, sometimes we might not play our best, and the offense goes out there and scores every single time that we can't stop them. But at the end, they're like, big time kudos to them.
Yeah, that trick play thrown back to Jaron, just everything they were doing last night. Just props to them. I mean, going back and getting stopped a couple times in a row, like they're down on themselves, but they can't let it get in their heads. And they went out there and just kept doing their thing, kept doing what they knew was right. Trust the coaches. It was incredible. Yeah, all the trust of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, that man Chase Roberts, balling.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he was gnarly.
Yeah,
he was pretty nasty. Puka and Gunner couldn't play, so it was just the next guy up.
Yeah,
so.
I just remember that catch they made in the end zone. I remember we had gone in scrimmage twice in Lavelle, and he had made like one catch in the corner, like toe tap, and we're like, oh, that's totally out, whatever. We watched the film, we're like, oh, that's a touchdown. Then another time in the same quarter where he caught the touchdown and made that same catch, I was like, if he can do this multiple times, I was like, he's gonna get the opportunity in the game. And then it happened, and all of us corners were like, he's done that. He's done that. We've seen him do that on film. Like, we're not that surprised about the situation.
Yeah, he's definitely a baller.
I was definitely awesome, and I felt like we didn't run the ball as effectively as we did the week before, but Peeny, when we needed it, when we needed it down on the goal line, stuck it in, and it felt like the biggest relief, because every time we missed some field goals. It happens. It's just like I missed some tackles. It happens, but once the offense stuffed it in, I was like, we don't have to worry about that anymore. That part of the game is over, and it was just nice to secure the dub for sure.
Yeah, especially on a run play, trucking someone over. That was nice. That gave me a little, it got me hyped.
We were talking earlier at dinner, and you made the funny remark. You said we don't lose on the Sabbath.
Don't lose on the Sabbath.
So that's because I was like, the football gods had to shine down on us for them to miss an extra point, then us miss a field goal, then them shank a field goal, then us miss another field goal, and then us win at 12:30 at night.
Yep. Hey, yeah. I'm telling you, we also missed a field goal during regulation after a touchdown. I'm telling you. Don't lose on the Sabbath in Lavelle. It's not going to happen. I think Utah might have gone past midnight Arizona State might have, but I know. I mean, this one ended at 1 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, so I don't know what it was. That curtain of confidence came over me and said, "Nah, we got help. We're good."
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was like stressed for a little second there. I was like, okay, we're in the second overtime right now. I was like, we just gotta punch it. I was just punch it in, please, just please punch it in. I was like, I want to go home happy. I was like, there's so many people here. I was like, I don't want to see sad faces.
Yeah.
And then everybody rushed the field, and I was like, we did just win. Like, actually, we did just win.
Yeah, we got to do it the hard way too.
Yeah,
we got to end it on defense too.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to end it any other way. Ending it on defense is a proper way, because that means that we got all the faith in the offense to go get their job done, and all we got to do is they had to score. Like, it didn't matter kick a field goal. No, you had to punch that ball in on us after you were going 2.9 yards rush and absolutely scared to throw the football down the field.
Yeah, the last throw, it was like 4 guys were on their one receiver. Yeah, I remember. So I was on the last play, and I went up to like block it or something. And I looked back and I saw 4 of our guys, and I said, "Yeah, there's no way he's catching that." Yeah,
I was expecting it to like bing off the crossbar and come back in. Like, it was super nice to run out on the field and have that happen. But this week, another ranked opponent, going up to Austin Stadium. Heard it's pretty hostile out there. I haven't really played over here on the West Coast, but what are you looking forward to?
Frick, man. I'm looking forward to playing on a Pac-12 team. I know that we're always kind of salty towards them. But honestly, it's a new week. I mean, it was great beating Baylor, but it's just, we take this thing 1 week at a time.
Exactly.
I know all the fans are pumped, but, for the 120 players and 30 coaches, we got to go on to the next, and just got to take this thing slow, piece by piece. So, I mean, they're a great team. I know they lost to Georgia, but that's Georgia. So, I mean, they're still a top 25 team favorite. I mean, they can still win the Pac-12 this year, so they're going to be a really tough team. Yeah,
we watched a little bit of film on them today. I mean, they run stretch, they run outside zone. They're going to throw the football on screen passes, which is the extension of the run. Mm-hmm. And, Bo Nix came for the SEC. I think it would be another week that they might not just push the ball vertically down the field. So, that I feel like if people, like, nobody's doing that on us right now, because that means they got to be a little bit scared or whatever the reason is. And for how good we played against the run, I think that we might go up in Eugene and, like, give him maybe a Georgia type.
A little smackdown.
Georgia type smackdown, because I don't think they're definitely riding high after just scoring 70 points last week. But they're gonna have to play us after we just played a really good Baylor team. Yeah. So that's a great point. Yeah. I know our coach is gonna scheme really well against them, and we talked a little bit of scheme today. So I'm excited. To play them. Yeah. So as a little kid, like, I, for some odd reason, had like Oregon fat heads, and like, everybody had Oregon fat heads. Like every kid like just wanted to wear the Oregon swag. I saw D'Anthony Thomas running 150 miles on the fast track that they had up there, and now that I'm like actually going there, and like my roommate played against them in what was called the Civil War, because he went to Oregon State and such. Like, it kind of feels like a surreal feeling, but at the same time, I'm like, our football team's so good that like, it's cool to go up there, but it'll be even better to like just absolutely smack them. At the end of the day, football field's 100 yards long. There's 22 people on it. Like, you just got to do business and count on yourself to make some plays. So exactly. Yeah. What was I about to say? Oh yeah. Do you think that we go up there and score a whole bunch of points this week, or do you think it's a relatively close game? I'm mentally, I'm planning on being a really close game. Like, it's gonna be so stressful. I'm already like, I've accepted that. And if we blow them out, great. But if it gets there, like, cool. I've already been expecting that for days on end. So that's just my mentality. So I know that no one's gonna give up an easy win at their home stadium. There's no way. No, I feel like completely like, do I want to go up there and just by the fourth quarter see the freshmen playing and be like, wow, we really did that? Yeah, I would love to see that, but just like you said, they're another ranked opponent. I think that definitely they're gonna play us tight, especially because they lost away from home so bad, and then they got a win, and school is about to start up over there again too, so they're gonna have all their kids coming back. I think that it's gonna be a lot. I don't think it'll be as close as Baylor, because I felt like if anybody made an explosive play in the last 2 or 3 minutes in that game, it would have been way different than what happened. We stayed really stout, but I think that if we go out and play the same exact game we do against Baylor, it'll be a little bit rough for them. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. They're gonna be a good team, but we're riding high on this confidence wave, and we just gotta do our thing. We know what we can do. We proved it last week, so we just gotta trust in ourselves, trust in the coaches.
Yeah, so last year I won 2 games in total, right? Yeah. And now we won 2 games in 2 weeks, and
it's pretty great.
It's pretty great feeling
nice.
about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I get to go home and I'm like, wow, we're playing the 3rd game of the season, going to get our 3rd win.
All that week of practice, all those reps in the game, I'm tired for good reason.
Yeah, exactly. And we do it so differently here than, honestly, I know for a fact anywhere else in the country. Like, practice scheduling, meetings, like the whole 9 yards is just done so differently. But I think that the level of confidence that we have, and the love that we have for each and every one of us on the football team, I think it definitely plays a bigger role into the overall aspect of winning. Because I mean, I came from SC, Alabama. They work really hard. They work all 6 days of the week. They get 1 day off and stuff like that. I mean, we work smart, not hard, which is very beneficial for us, because there's a lot of other things that are going on. BYU is a tough school. We got the church, we got a lot of things that are on our plate, and I think the way that we figured out to balance it all and also get wins is super impressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, what people don't understand is there's a whole different aspect to BYU than just other places, where we do have to. It's a really rigorous school, academically. So it's and our fan base is extremely demanding. I hate to say it, but it's just kind of who they are, and that's what makes us good.
Yeah.
And they're loyal, and we're expected to go to this really hard school and get wins, and we just gotta do our thing. So.
Yeah. So talking about the fan base, I don't know if you saw the tweets or just heard mentions and stuff like that. All the Baylor fans were like, even though they were upset with the outcome of the game, whatever the case is, they had such a great and amazing time at the game. It just felt like it was
how could you not?
Yeah. But to me, it was just wild for them to say that, because when I go somewhere, you could treat me as great as you want, but if I just lost and I had to fly across the country, I'm gonna be upset every single time. But they were free ice cream. They played our fight song. They gave us dog tags. This was amazing. Can't wait for them to join the Big 12. And I was dude, you guys lost. It can't be that amazing.
In the worst way. Yeah. That's just like I said, we do it differently. So I'm not in charge of that, but whoever is, they must be a great person.
Exactly.
And I mean, you can count on those BYU fans to take care of the opponents. I don't know if you ever saw the one podcast with what quarterback was it?
Keenan Slow. Yeah, my friend actually runs that podcast. Yeah.
And they were like, God, the people at BYU are so nice.
Yeah.
They're like, you stink. Stuff like that when he's walking in, just stuff like that, So it always helps to have a good taste in people's mouths when they leave. So.
Yeah, one thing I was noticing, since there's so much, there's so much blue, there's so many people there, it was just so wild. It just looked like the Baylor sideline was puny. They didn't have many people. They just looked really little.
They were trying to dance.
Yeah, they were trying to dance and wave their flag, and I was just dude, that's just expending energy that you should not be doing at this moment in time.
Yeah, when we played at Baylor, bro, that place was. It's not as big. It's only 35 or 45,000 people, but it was kind of like that, where we were right behind the student section, but. You saw us at USF, but we travel really well.
Yeah.
You see us at Oregon, so they had a little section themselves. But I used to live in Oregon when I was really little. But I can tell you, there's BYU fans in Oregon that are so. I'm telling you right now, they're so pumped to go to this game. They're going to be There'll be more BYU fans there than you expect.
Yeah, I mean, I look on Twitter and I hear like people quote, they're like, "Oh, I love making the 3.5-hour drive from Idaho to come watch the game and such," and I'm like,
Yeah,
that's dedication right there.
It's
for
the commitment that
Yeah. I mean, I'm from the South. Football, it goes like God, football, family. That's pretty much how it works in that order.
Yeah.
And but that's like the communities and like the towns, but like to see how like worldwide and global it is for everybody, and to feel that same way about football, it's actually pretty sick in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, for really peaceful, loving people that give ice cream to people, I mean, they love football just as much or more than anyone else. So it's good. Definitely good to have those people on your side.
Exactly. Do we have any questions from?
You have been, well, this is a good one for John, too.
Yeah,
You've been requested to shout out 6th and 7th period of Spanish Fork Junior High Spanish class.
All right, shout out to 6th and 7th period Spanish Fork Junior High Spanish class. Go Skyhawks, number 1. I know you guys got my boys this week, and I won't be there because I'll be in Oregon, but I'm definitely be watching, probably on Spanish Fork TV, but I'll try not to give them my business. But shout out to you guys.
And then tell them a little bit, just so they know, you can be a successful human being leading that Spanish class. Share your experience.
Oh, yeah. So Jake Brandon was my Spanish teacher. And let me tell you guys something. It was a great time. And, I learned a little bit of Spanish, a little Espanol, but I learned a little about life. And that's what really matters. So,
was there much Spanish like actually being taught?
Oh, there was all kinds of Spanish. It was you stepped in class and it might as well have been Mexico City.
Was we missing the other ones? Some kids dropped the stumble code for you guys to play Stumble Guys with them, but I think their game's probably over. Just a fun game.
I don't have Stumble Guys on my phone, but if you guys put me on the spot, I'd download it.
Let's see, ready for questions. Someone's asking about that.
Alright.
Okay. The first one. Okay, do you want to hop on and ask us some questions? We'll see if we get some more filtering in here from people.
So you ever been to Oregon?
No, I've never been to the stadium. No.
I've been to it's such a cool stadium.
Really?
It's like so my cousin played at USC.
Oh, okay.
And we went to watch them play one time.
Yeah.
And it was like, they try super hard. It's like, you can tell that's like totally Nike influence. Like everything else up there.
Yeah.
So it just feels like you're walking like a Nike stadium. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to play there. Like it's
no, I mean, I literally am like giddy like a little kid because like I told you, like I was so like, I have multiple pictures growing up of like me with Oregon hat, Oregon fleece, like with green pants and stuff like that, just looking like an absolute clown. But like, we all liked them at some point in time when they were winning games.
Okay, I'm glad you guys are talking about that actually, because we got this one. This is from the Twitter sphere, not from the live chat. So at Coug Connect on Twitter. If you tweet us, Jake will relay it in, and we'll ask it. But this is a good one that I think is pretty good. You guys are playing Oregon this week. It's obviously another top 25 matchup. What do you guys think of when you think of Oregon? Is it the football, or are you guys like the rest of us where you think of the really cool uniforms?
I think growing up, definitely the mixture of both. From like Dennis Dixon to like Marcus Mariota, that time where they're definitely winning games, and Chip Kelly was up there before he got to the Eagles. I definitely believe that it was winning games while also looking good. So you can't not like that. But nowadays, I definitely think of them as more just like a middle of the road looking impressive football team. Like they always have the nice jerseys and stuff like that, but I know the Pac-12 just hasn't been that great in the last couple of years. So that's how I personally feel about them. I don't know about you.
Yeah, 12-year-old me would say they got really cool uniforms, but college football player me is just they're another college team.
Yeah.
You gotta treat them with respect, treat your opponent with respect, and gotta just do what I know I can do this week.
They got a new coach up there too, Dan Lanning, the former defensive coordinator over at Georgia. Is there a little bit of that Georgia respect that you guys are giving him too, just because of all that in his staff?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously was very successful at Georgia. I haven't really thought much about them getting a new head coach. I don't know if it'll affect me personally, but it'll definitely affect the game. So, I mean, I haven't really given it much thought. But that's just my thoughts on it.
I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was the defensive coordinator at Georgia before, right?
Yeah, just last year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're.
You guys obviously aren't scouting that side.
Yeah,
of the ball.
yeah. I mean, I'm not scouting that side of the ball, but I know they hired the offensive coordinator. He used to be somewhere like Florida State, I want to say. So maybe bringing a flair of the Georgia defense without the athletes that Georgia has, and then they've always been known for running the ball. They're gonna want to run the ball. That's what they do, and then set up the pass. Like I don't think that. It's just hard to give them the respect of Georgia because like you see the dominance that they have on that side of the country and also what they do. I just think that they're a good football team, but we're gonna have to just do our job.
Yeah, and Georgia's obviously very much earned all of that respect. Obviously, Gabe playing in the SEC, and then playing in the same conference as like this little tiny school from Tuscaloosa that y'all may have heard about. LSU, kind of that conference.
Yeah.
The great mighty Vanderbilt, obviously. I feel like Oregon has also in a lot of ways, yes, like we know about their uniforms, we know about their flash, we know about the sizzle. They've also earned a lot of respect as well, kind of becoming a little bit of a West Coast power in some ways. John, you talked about you've actually been to Autzen before. Let's elaborate a little bit more on kind of what you know about them and that trip and just that stadium, that environment, that fan base overall.
Yeah, well, Eugene is it's not a big town. It's basically Oregon University, and then it's Eugene next to it. So I was actually going to see my cousin play at USC. I was probably 14 years old. I wasn't cheering for the Ducks, but they're an extremely loyal fan base. Coach Kalani already came and told us like they're gonna get dirty. They're gonna say some things, but we just got to be humble enough and be more mature. And there's a bigger picture than talking back to some college kids in the crowd. They're gonna say some stupid stuff. I'm just mentally preparing for it right now. But it's a cool experience. I definitely am really pumped to play there. It's one of the best places to play on the West Coast. It was really cool when I went there, and I can't wait to go back.
For sure. Let's play off the chat a little bit for this one. You guys have been talking too much football lately for the last couple of minutes, so let's talk some non-football.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about what you guys are studying. What's your favorite class this semester? Do you have a favorite class, or is it all a grinding BYU schedule? I know, John, you're probably so like general education or something. So
yeah,
I don't know if you've got a favorite yet.
Yeah, I'm not that far along. I've been trying. I want to major in economics. I've declared that as my major. I'm just taking calculus right now, which I need to just keep going and keep pushing through that. Taking Econ 110 right now, and then some easier classes. But it's hard, but you got to manage it. So, what about you? How's school over here?
Gabe, have you found a favorite class yet in that MBA program, or?
Yeah, it's actually funny to hear John talk about it. We're about relatively the same age, so like,
Well, that's right, he's only a year older than me.
Yeah,
I forget about that.
So I remember doing all that stuff when I first gone to Vanderbilt and such, and Econ 1. I literally was 17 when I took Econ 110, so it's actually funny. But taking classes in the MBA program, for anybody that's listening that's been in a master's program, it's not really like school. It's more or less like use your experiences to like get you through, which for me it's way different than everybody else, but for the general majority, because everybody's about 30 plus in the majority of my classes. And it's use your experiences to be able to answer the questions that the teacher asks, and then do good on some tests, present on some projects just like you're a consultant for a team or whatever the case is. For me, it's like, okay, understand what everybody else has done and somehow twist that into football, because that's the only job that I've really ever had, and then be able to answer the questions that the teachers had. So all the classes for me are, they're all good. I just kind of just sit there, don't know what they're saying for half the class, than read the book and know what they're saying after class and then, figure it out. But that's where I'm at this moment in time. I'm not really a favorite, but just trying to figure out, also get friends in my classes because majority of them have families and not like the BYU like Virginia got married and now has a family. No, their kids are 11, so their kids were when I was in 5th grade. Their kids were born, and I'm like, wow, that's really, really interesting.
How has that been for you with people getting married and having kids? Has it been weird at all, or has it been whatever?
Yeah, it's been kind of whatever. I think more or less the shock is generally going into my MBA class and some people, their kids are 16.
Yeah.
Or my professor is telling me that there are 2 people in the class that their kids are are at BYU right now, and I'm like, whoa. I'm taking class with this person and their child is
probably
19 years old, right? Which is wild.
That's a really good point. I want to continue down that train of thought a little bit because I kind of have to remind myself, Gabe, in our interactions as well, that you're not one of the older players on the team necessarily by age, just because you graduated from Vanderbilt. You're one of the more experienced guys on the team. Obviously, SEC snaps are different snaps. Every time you go through a game, it's like you've been through 3 because, hashtag it just means more. Or something like that. Or so I've been told, right, John?
Yeah.
What do you find yourself having to kind of remind yourself as well about was it weird at all getting to this team and joining this team with a bunch of freshmen like John who are 24 years old? I'm just kidding, you just look 24.
Yeah.
You're how, 20, I think?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess more or less it's just the weirdest thing is knowing that I'm probably on the left side of the scale of being one of the more younger people on the football team. But the thing that was hard to adjust is being one of the younger people, knowing that I still have to be not the leadership part being hard. It's being on the team so young age-wise and having all these guys that are freshmen. It's it's sometimes weird to tell the guy that's 24 that's a freshman to say something to them because I'm well, I'm 21, just turned 21, but I've also done this and I graduated college. It just feels weird. Yeah. It's just if you're in the working world and your manager's 22, right? And you're however old you are and you're why is a 22-year-old telling me what to do? We don't have that much of a age gap, but at the same time, it's he just graduated college, he's 21, I'm 25. Why is he telling me to hurry up and get on the line type beat? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You actually saved me. This is a funny story, actually. So last week against USF, you actually had a good moment for me. This was your experience kicking in. My chin strap broke. It was right before they scored their touchdown on the goal line or whatever, and I was I don't know what to do. I was freaking out, and he's just go down. So I had some cramps in my leg.
Yeah.
And
well, because technically the referee, the rule is he has to stop it, and I'm looking at him and I'm looking back at you, and I was his helmet's broken, and at that point I was gonna tell you to take your helmet off, but it's a 15-yard penalty if you do it on the field of play. So I was go down, and the ref was oh, that looked bad. I was his helmet is broken. You should have called it already. But I had a fair share of times where I'm not gonna say at Vanderbilt we had some guys that got some cramps that weren't really cramps, but we played Tennessee that ran the fastest offense in the country, and then we played Ole Miss that ran the second fastest offense in the country week 11, and then week 12 we played Tennessee that ran the fastest offense in the country. So week 11 we were prepared, but at the same time it was we're a little tired, and the game was close. I think we lost 21-28, something like that. And then the next week at Tennessee, we're all right, we're not calling defensive calls. If they come out in 3-by-1, we're playing cover 3. If they come out in this, we're playing cover 4. And it just made the game go a little bit easier. But those are just some situational things. Especially my old coach Clark Lee, he was mastermind about the science of the game. So he'd tell us on 3rd and 2 they have a 72% chance of getting it and stuff like that. So it was just little things that I was taught to on the field to be able to prepare for.
Savannah education.
Yeah.
That might be the first time, John, I've ever heard about somebody being helped off the field for a cramped chin strap.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to give me a new chin strap too. It was right before halftime. That's when it was.
It was busted. I've never seen it too. It was ripped here off the thing, and not even all the way up there.
I was All right, this is kind of game it's gonna be. The rain delay, chin strap's broke.
That's right.
I gotta get some cramps before going to halftime.
So shout out to Josh in the best equipment room in the.
That's right.
NCAA.
True, 100%. 20 seconds later, I had a new chin strap.
Yeah.
That's how you roll. Let's stay on the discussion of veteran leadership and whatnot, but I'm not going to ask this of Gabe because I don't want him to talk about himself. He's one of the leaders.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a lot of leadership on this team, John. Would you agree with that? Like,
Oh, yeah,
there was this
100%.
moment that kind of went viral a little bit after the game where Jaron Hall, obviously quarterback, was found on while everybody's rushing the field around him. He finds Jake Oldroyd, who just barely missed a field goal, potential game winner, go-ahead field goal, and they're just embracing while everybody's celebrating around them. Kind of just this ultimate moment of leadership right there. Shout out to Jaron. I think it was a really big deal. Kalani was telling us a little bit in the media afterwards, though, that that's not the only leadership on this team. There are a lot of leaders, a lot of guys who kind of take roles like that to say, hey, we know you're down, come up with us. Like, how much leadership is on this team, John?
Oh, a ton. And, Jaron's always been that type of guy ever since I've known him, ever since I joined the team. That didn't surprise me at all. That's just the kind of guy he is. And then in the locker room, I mean, all of us told Jake we loved him and kind of just got over it, forgave him. And, we have a ton of guys on the team that, they're fathers and have sons and they went on missions. They've been through a lot of life experience. And they know how to deal with people that, have had mistakes or messed up, and we don't have a lot of rah-rah guys in your face. I never thought there would be people chewing me out. I was never scared to make a mistake and someone was just gonna, tell me I was the worst or whatever. So it's been good. I was really impressed with the maturity and leadership on our team when I first got here. And then we had so many guys come back from last year, and some guys that said they weren't going to come back last year and then came back, and then they obviously are making a difference this year. So it's been great.
Awesome. Do you have anything you want to add about that, Gabe?
Honestly, I'm honestly generally very new, and so like what I see is just like genuinely the guys that everybody's talked about do their job, and I think that on the whole team we just kind of have like the culture of leadership in general, like not even just the guys that are called captains or associate captains or leaders. I think it's just everybody in their own way displays a sort of leadership and accountability. So I think that just because you don't have an A or a C on your chest, I think that everybody still gives the proper amount of leadership across the whole thing.
Once again, we're taking questions from the live chat. If you guys are joining us on YouTube, you can type that in. I'm gonna stall for a little bit longer, give you guys a couple minutes to do that, because I do want to get to know John a little bit.
What's up?
Okay, you guys did a great job getting to know John from a football player perspective. Let's get to know him from like a non-football perspective a little bit. John Nelson has one of the coolest families I've ever met. I've covered his family in a lot of sports in Utah County, mostly out of Salem Hills.
That's right. Go Skyhawks, baby.
Yeah, one or two other unnamed schools that we won't talk about. He's got some cousins.
Oh, that's right.
Around
Yeah.
Utah County, but we won't mention them.
That's right.
But John, you come from a pretty athletic family. Your mom played basketball at BYU back in the early 90s.
Yep.
Your dad played basketball at Boise State.
Yep.
His grandfather, I think it was, played football for the Broncos. Or his dad. His dad played football for the Broncos.
Oh, my grandpa?
So yeah, your grandpa or your great-grandpa?
So my mom's dad played for Utah State.
And your mom's dad played for Utah State?
Yeah, but my dad's dad, he did not.
So your grandpa. And then you've also got a brother and a sister who play college basketball.
Yeah. So my immediate family, they're full basketball players, and I was the only one to step with football. So, yeah, that was kind of my calling.
Well, who's the most athletic in your family then? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
The most athletic, probably, if I had to say one, it'd be of my brothers and sisters. I'd say my older brother James or my older sister Jane, or my younger brother Jedi. Probably those three right there.
So all J's.
All J's, all seven of them. So if you guys are watching, it's Jesse, Joe, Jane, James, John, Jackson, Jedi. So.
I wasn't gonna call her out by name, but I covered a bunch of his sister Jane in high school basketball, and she was a dog.
Yeah, she was. just doing her thing, and it's just we're all naturally competitive. It's just the way it is, and yeah. So
when you guys come back and you get back together, a bunch of you most of you are older, moved away, that kind of thing. You got one younger brother. You got the one younger brother, obviously, but most of you are kind of spreading out a little bit. When you come back together, what's the deal? Do you go out? Do you split up and play 3-on-3 basketball? Do you go and like toss the football around? Like, how competitive do you guys get?
Yeah, so so my sisters have bad luck with basketball. They've done some knee injuries, and so is my mom and my dad. And then my brother just got done playing college basketball. So we don't play we play a little bit of basketball. And my brother-in-law played college basketball. That's where he met my sister. And my other brother-in-law ran track at Utah State. So we like pickleball is kind of a good medium for us. Like we'll get really into pickleball. Cornhole's really fun. And then my oldest sister Jessie, she hurt her knee playing basketball in high school and kind of couldn't focus on basketball as much. So she rides road bikes a lot and does these crazy long races with my mom. So that's kind of what they do. And then me and my brothers will do something, and anyway, we'll find some way to make it competitive, or whether it's game night or something. It's just the way it is.
Sean, they're not just athletic; they're all brilliant. Wow, you should know this. You ask John about how smart his sister, his mom is brilliant as well.
My mom is a really smart lady. She graduated from BYU, so that's kind of half. That's kind of half of it. Yeah, and then
and full disclosure, she's Augustin.
Yeah.
BYU fans viewing this may recognize that name, Lauren Gustin on the women's basketball team.
Yeah, Lauren.
Lauren Gustin, who's in the NFL.
Yeah, Lauren plays on the basketball team here. She's a monster. Yeah, she's crazy good. Yeah, but my sister and my mom both graduated from BYU, which means they're crazy smart. So, yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. And John's an econ major, so he's also crazy.
Trying my best.
And James refused to play any video games or do anything besides read lengthy novels in class.
Yeah, my older brother Jimmy, he's a hoot. He's
my favorite, man.
So he went through a phase where he really loved books and history, and so he's actually a history major. So anything related to JFK or Ronald Reagan or whatever political thing was going on in the 20th century, he was all about it. So
bright kid.
Yeah.
We won't get into it on the stream, but James is also a fan favorite of Utah State fans. Look it up. It's probably on a message board out there.
Utah State fans do their homework, so if you ever get an argument with them,
we're not going to talk too much about it.
Get your guns loaded. Get your guns loaded.
Go to AggieFan.net if you want to know more.
Yeah.
Have we fielded any questions in the chat, or?
Let's see.
Mostly it's just shout-outs in the chat.
Yeah, it's a lot of shout-outs, so... once again, shout out Chubby's Neighborhood Cafe. I know they're a new sponsor, so give them a little extra love there.
John, talk to us about Chubby's. How was your burger?
It's phenomenal. Top tier. 1 of 1. Guacamole bacon burgers. Smacking.
Have you been yet, Gabe, to Chubby's?
I think I went one time at the beginning when I was first here, and that's it. But, I got one to take home, so...
You got a burger to take home?
Yeah, so I'm excited, for sure.
Chubby's Cafe, also a sponsor of CougConnect.com, local NIL initiative here in Provo. Let's talk about NIL some, guys. Because I know, Gabe, you've got a little bit of experience with NIL, obviously. John, you're growing in your experience with NIL, that's what we'll say.
Definitely growing.
Has it been the game changer that everybody said it was going to be a year ago when it was kind of first introduced?
I think it's a game changer in recruiting a ton, but as far as existing players, you gotta be careful because there's some. Texas A&M took a ton of money, and so did Texas Tech. And so I don't know what that does for people's mindsets, but personally, I don't need a ton of money to play football. It's just my opinion. If I'm working towards that. Obviously the NFL is gonna be a great goal, and can't wait for that. But I really don't need extra incentives to play football at a certain university. So
you're not a $3 million $3 million Aggie going to College Station?
Well, you know what, that'd be great, but I don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent, once you get that much money, like how much do you really want to play football anymore?
Exactly. It's
at 18, because if you do the right things with that money, by the time you're about 30, you shouldn't even have gone to the NFL.
It's like the LSU guy. He got his money and dipped.
That's true.
I can't remember what that guy's name was, but he was a quarterback that just. I mean, nothing against
Miles Brannon.
Yeah, nothing against that guy. I mean, he just
signed a deal with Kane, signed a deal with Amazon, and then it's done.
I mean, if that was his decision, I'm not going to say anything negative about him, but that's just that's a risky run doing that. So
exactly.
So what's the sweet spot? Like, how much NIL a month would make it where it's like, oh, there's like really no financial burden for me.
$5,000
at all. Yeah. And then like beyond that, you're like, yeah, this is kind of a distraction.
$5,000.
$5,000.
Definitely, because you got to think about where you live too, right? Utah, for some odd reason, is just getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
And like they pay us money, right, to live off campus and whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But if you want to live somewhere nice, and like I'm not part of church. I'm not from Provo. Like, it's definitely culture shock for me to if I lived exactly in Provo, right? So I live, 15 minutes from Provo, and it's not Provo pricing. It's more expensive to live 15 minutes from Provo. So like, that money on top of it to be able to, if I even ever needed to send some money home to my family for them to be able to handle a situation, like I'd still be feeling comfortable about the situation. And you got to think about it. You get paid almost 12 months out of the year. That's a median salary right there that I'm okay with, to be able to put in 60 hours a week during the season, and then 20 hours a week outside of the season.
Yeah, and I think that what some people don't understand is that being a full-time college student is super hard.
Yeah.
And then there's being a full-time football player, which is also really hard. And you put them together, and then on top of that, you have to be at BYU, where it's really it's really a different place than everywhere else. And then on top of that, like, you're expected to win a ton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like it's different than everywhere else. But I mean, obviously everyone has their own number on it, but
yeah.
Some consistency would be nice.
Yeah.
100%.
Honestly, guys, just to quickly plug us, like, that's what we're aspiring to do with these like subscriptions and these sponsors and things, is get a more regular thing to you guys, and it's a process, but we're working hard at it.
Like, I generally don't believe like I should be making 6 figures playing college football. No, not by any means, but I do like. I mean, I didn't believe this before NIL, because, like, it was never a thought, so why would I ever think that I need to get paid? But if that opportunity is now out there, like, I feel like we could, I get it, we get school paid for, which is super nice. And I don't know, I'm in grad school now, so, like, it's a little different. I don't get government aid if I need to apply for government aid, because it's an elective university choice. So, like, if let's say you went 3 or 4 years and you got government aid, and then you went to grad school to be able to continue the opportunity to go to the NFL. Now that's taken away from you, so now you don't have that money anymore, right? And not to say I had it, but for other people that I know, like, that did, and now that you have gone to get an elective education to be able to then provide for their families later on in life, it's now harder for them to go play football at a better place, because now they have even less money, and it's harder for them then. So you got to make the best decision for you and your family whenever it comes to it. But at the end of the day, would it be nice? Yeah, but we went 100 some odd years without it, so people can stop complaining about not getting anything.
Yeah, and I think that's what made college sports so much fun to watch, because there was no money.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So obviously, like, it's out there, and we probably deserve some of it, but if it ended up to the point where nothing changed for me, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Exactly.
So just so, like, people over watching know, like, I was on Criddle's show a few weeks ago, and we had John Beck call in, and John Beck said he needed more money when he was playing college ball, and he applied at Tony Roma's, Sportsman's Warehouse, and another place, and all of them hired him, and then he gave him his available hours to work, and they're, because he had, he's training with the football team, he's doing training on the side with personal coaches, he's going to class, and they both said, like, you're working like 7 hours a week. It's more of a nuisance to, like, manage you. There's not enough hours. Like, sorry, I have to go find another job. So, like, even like guys who, like, want to work and, like, want to do things, sometimes it's really not feasible with football. School being first priority, football being second priority, then a job. Throwing like 6-7 hours in a job a week.
Yeah.
A week.
And then how well are you performing your job with all this going on? So
Least of my worries would be the job for sure.
Yeah.
But unless you guys got something else, I'd like to shout out again our sponsors, Carrick Home Design, Chubby's, Frankie Jane, SaveDamien.com, and of course go subscribe at Coug Connect. Come help us out since we just had the conversation. And yeah, we appreciate you guys, love you guys, and can't wait to see you guys in Austin Stadium.
See you later. Go Cougs.